Hi everybody, I'm Jennet Ingle, the 5-Minute Reedmaker. If you're watching this on YouTube, could you go ahead and click subscribe? That way it's always easy for you to notice my new episodes and for other people to find my channel and make better reads and be better musicians and humans. Today I wanted to talk about diagnosing your own problems and doing it in batches, and let's see if this concept proves useful. I was speaking the other day with a client who had, 3-4 months ago, had a problem where all of the hearts of his reeds were too thick, and we diagnosed that, and he worked on it, and lo and behold, all of his reeds got better, so much better, huge improvement. But a couple days ago, I was on a Zoom call with him, and he was unhappy with his reeds again. And we talked about it, and I feel like any one reed, the one reed that's in my hand, can be weird in its own way. But of course we're on Zoom, so I couldn't look at the reed that was in his hand and on his oboe. So I asked, what is it that's going on with your reeds? What are you unhappy about? Or when does that bad thing sneak in? He said, well, I'm pretty good doing a day one scrape and getting a beep and a crow. Everything feels really promising. I said, great, fantastic. Then he said, well, but after that, they just get flat and then they get short, and I keep scraping and clipping and scraping and clipping, and they just keep getting flatter and shorter, and then they become terrible. And when I thought about that symptom, sort of as it spreads across a whole batch of reeds, I was like, oh, your hearts are too thin. He's like, but my hearts used to be too thick. I'm like, of course they did, because you corrected that problem. You had a problem, hearts too thick, and you worked on it. And it's the kind of thing where you solve it and you say, oh my goodness, my reeds are so wonderful now. This is fantastic. But the next time you have a reed that's just a little bit not quite great, your instinct is to say, oh, my heart must be too heavy. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe that was just like an individual reed thing. So you can get into a habit, and I see this over and over with oboists. You can get into a habit of using that thing that you thought would fix your reeds too much until the reeds evolve into a bad place again. The pendulum just swings from here all the way through perfect to too far on the other extreme. And it can be very hard to diagnose if you're just looking at the one reed that's in your hand and like scraping and clipping and scraping and clipping and feeling more and more frustrated with it. But what I felt really helped in our conversation was to zoom out and say, okay, so of the last 5 or 10 reeds you made, what is the tendency? What is the trend? What are you seeing? And I talk about this all the time, right? Putting the problem into words somehow takes it out of this realm of like frustration and lack of knowledge, and into something that you actually can form a hypothesis around. So when we were able to talk about his reeds in the aggregate and say, oh yeah, like in general, it seems to be on day 2 that this thing happens, and the symptom that I seem to get over and over again is this, we were able to say, aha, I think I see the problem. And so that is my recommendation for you as well. If you've got one reed out of your batch of 10 that isn't so good, oh well, just break it off, make a tube, move on, because reeds are weird and they are individual and they are different one to the next. But if you can look back over your last week or 2 weeks or month of reed making and discover a general problem, something that keeps coming up, I think that's a thing to really grab onto. The statement, this reed is too flat, could absolutely just be about that reed, but the statement, all my reeds are too flat, might mean that your shape is too wide, that your rooftop is too high, that your heart is too thin, that there's a general thing you can fix and in general improve your reeds. And so that is what I want to leave you with. The process of diagnosing is not just looking at this reed, it's looking at all of the reeds and trying to put into words what it is exactly that you don't like about them. I hope that this has been helpful. This is a 5-minute Reedmaker lesson. I share these short videos here on YouTube, and you can watch them. You can subscribe. I hope you do. If you need to reach me, you can find me at jennetingle.com, which is also where you could order reeds or cane or supplies, or sign up for my weekly reed club where we can work together on your reeds, or for my Zero to Reedmaker course where I'll take you over 6 weeks from not knowing how to make a reed at all to hopefully making competent, functional, working reeds. Also, I would love to hear from you if you have questions or thoughts of other short videos that I could make for you and what those could address. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.